A very good morning and welcome back to another Daily Market Outlook. My name is Fabio and thank you for tuning in once again. I hope you've had an amazing weekend. Markets are looking prime for another beautiful week of trading. Now, as you can see, the background is a little bit different today. I am not in Amsterdam, but I am in Brazil, in Sao Paulo to be specific, for some family business and stuff. So yeah, make sure to reach out to me if you are in Brazil, and yeah, we can definitely meet up. And then for the rest, let's just dive into the daily market outlook. So if we look at EURUSD here on the weekly time frame, we can very clearly see that last week we got a very strong weekly candle closure, which was bullish. We can see that we're currently making a bottom wick here at the beginning of the week before potentially heading up higher once again. Now, what I'm currently looking at still here on the weekly time frame is the fact that we liquidated this overall range low. So this for me is kind of like in the overall leg up, a liquidity low, which we've liquidated, and then furthermore, we've seen now a weekly change of character. So this here is your weekly change of character high. Why is this the weekly change of character high? Well, because it is the most recent high which broke this structural low. Therefore, I now consider this an area of demand that can push the market up higher at any potential moment in time. If you were to refine this zone, you would most likely draw it on the two most recent 50% body candlesticks. If we turn on the indicator, you can then take the most recent two, and then you draw the zone from the bottom up to the top wick. So that's what I'm looking at on the weekly time frame. It's looking good for some potential further upside. As we know, we still have some liquidity resting above this high over here. Overall, this is the impulse down with a little bump in the road, impulse down, bump in the road, impulse down. Now, these bump in the roads, that is where liquidity lies within the market. So I'm looking to at least take out this bump in the road over here at around 1.06, let's say 300. Maybe we'll see an early week retracement before then heading up higher. So let's keep that kind of like, yeah, in our vision. Now, going in towards the daily time frame, we can see that last week we're very accurate with overall calling the further upside from EURUSD. Now, let's see if we can do the same this week. So at this point in time, the daily here on euro dollar is obviously still swing bearish, right? If we look at the overall momentum, we can still see that it's in towards the downside. However, we're getting a little bit interesting price action at the moment because obviously we saw that weekly change of character, but we've also seen the daily order flow remain bullish as of yet. As we can see, we get the impulse down, retracement, impulse down, retracement, impulse down, retracement, impulse down. Now, overall, if we look at the overall price action that we have here, what I'm very interested in is the fact that we first of all broke this high over here, but second of all, that the daily order flow and fractal structure is holding very well. Here we have the first fractal break, here we have the second fractal break, here we have the third fractal break overall. So overall what you're seeing is push up, retracement, push up, retracement, push up, retracement, and now I'm just looking for the next push up. As long as the daily fractal structure holds, and your daily fractal structure is this low over here and this high over here, as long as that holds, I am only still interested in looking for long. So I will be looking for a EURUSD long here at the beginning of the week to potentially hold all the way in towards the end of the week. So what we have now is this area of demand. Obviously, this is your daily sell before the buy. We can see that we've already tapped into it pretty much this morning, and we're now straight away reversing back out of it. But overall, weekly fractal structure is bullish, daily fractal structure is bullish, so therefore I'm not interested yet in any shorts. We'll be just following the daily order flow up higher until we break this potential black line over here, and then we'll be keeping an eye out for shorts again, with this being your swing high and this being your swing low. But for now, just follow the overall demand chain further in towards the upside, because otherwise, yes, indeed, some of you might see this as the swing high and this over here as the swing low. You could potentially start looking for shorts after, for example, grabbing the liquidity above these highs and these highs. But let's keep in mind, daily order flow is still bullish, so longs are the only thing that I'm looking at for now. Going in towards the 4 hour, the 4 hour is a little bit messy though, in my personal opinion, so not really looking to trade the 4 hour at all. We have this refined area of 4 hour demand over here, and we can see that we've got a bearish change of character over here. So what does this bearish change of character mean? Well, it means that we get the push up in towards this high, then we get a retracement in towards this low, and then we get another push up in towards this high, and now boom, you see a break in towards the downside over here happening now. So that now means essentially that this is now the supply zone that is currently in control. Okay, so that's why I'm not really favoring looking at longs on the 4 hour time frame. But what I personally do when this gets a little bit messy is I just look at the daily time frame only, and the daily time frame obviously is looking good for some further upside. But let's keep in mind it is still Monday, so I want to see a little bit more development. I'll be monitoring the 4 hour time frame. Preferably what I would want to see is some kind of like reaction to this overall supply zone, another push down in towards demand, and then inside that demand zone we get kind of like the change of character, which could potentially push the market up higher once again. So that's Euro USD. Now going in towards the dollar index. The dollar index is still in supply, as you can see, after grabbing those equal lows which we mentioned last week. So last week's analysis played out absolutely beautifully. We can very clearly see that we have supply now in control here on the daily time frame. So this is the buy up before the strong sell down. Now we've retraced in towards that daily supply zone. Now as long as that daily supply zone remains in control, and what do I mean with remains in control? Well, I mean that the daily fractal structure does not get broken, which is this black line over here. I am still only interested in further downside from the dollar, okay? So that's what I have now on my radar for the dollar index. Let's say we do break that black line, then we could see further upside once again. But for now, supply is in control, so keep that in mind when trading these major dollar pairs. Now, moving on into AUDUSD. AUDUSD has been an absolute beaut last week. However, we're now seeing a very, very steep retracement overall. Now, what I need you to understand here on the daily and the weekly, and let's start on the weekly time frame first, is that on the weekly, we have swept the range low beautifully, really, really beautifully. You can see over here, this is a range low, we sweep it, and then straight away we see that bullish momentum kick in. Now here on the weekly time frame, very similar to euro dollar, what has happened is that we've seen a weekly change of character. Here we had the weekly change of character low, this was the change of character high over here, and now once again you've broken this high over here. So this to me is a bullish sign, and all we're simply doing is just tapping in towards the weekly sell before the buy, and we're now potentially looking for some further upside here on the weekly. Then I go in towards the daily time frame, and what I see on the daily, and I know the chart looks maybe a little bit messy, but I'm still in a swing long position from all the way down here. What I'll do is I'll just delete these lines real quick, and I'm going to keep it nice and simple for you. All I am simply looking at is this high over here that got broken. Now what does that mean for the fractal low? It means that this here is now your fractal low, this here is now your fractal high. Now with our overall entry being over here somewhere, this is still a very good entry that is resting at break even. Overall, we have the imbalanced candles over here which can push the market up higher at any time, but that is currently what I'm looking at. But ultimately, the only thing that you really need to understand is that as long as this low over here is respected, we should continue up higher, right? This over here is your overall fractal range. So we could retrace as deep as all the way in towards that 50% mark and still remain bullish on the daily time frame. So keep that in mind. If you want to look at further long positions on Aussie dollar, obviously now here on the 4-hour time frame, you've broken this 4-hour fractal low again, which is not ultimately very good for any further long positions. So let's just wait for the overall 4-hour order flow to flip bullish again, create new demand, and then from there we look for further long positions once again. So today I'll mainly be waiting for development from the 4-hour time frames on these major dollar pairs before engaging with any further long positions. Going into GBPUSD next, we can see that GBPUSD itself has been absolutely beautiful overall this week. Starting here on the daily time frame, we can see that the overall demand flow on the lower time frame, being the 4-hour time frame, has brought the market all the way back up in towards that area of supply here on the 4-hour, but also on the daily. Now you can see here very clearly push up, retracement, push up, retracement, push up, retracement, another push up, retracement, and then a very strong push up again. At this point in time, this is now your demand zone that is in control. There are no shorts, but also no longs yet on our hands. Overall, what we have here is a daily area of supply, of course, and I called this last week, waiting for that to get hit. For now, what I'm looking at is the fact that this here is your daily fractal low, and this here is your daily fractal high. So daily fractal structure is bullish. 4-hour fractal structure is at this point in time still bullish over here, with this being your demand zone. So there are no shorts on the table yet, despite the daily swing and fractal being bearish, okay? So yes, indeed, overall, the swing is bearish in towards the downside here. The daily fractal is bearish from this high in towards this low, but now we need to see the 4-hour and the daily fractal start to shift in towards the downside. You need to start getting something like this, and then we get in here on the lower high, and then we swing it down lower again, and this counts as well for the 4-hour time frame. We need the 4-hour to shift as well. We need demand to start breaking if you are interested in short. So we need this demand over here to fill. But like I said, the dollar index is in supply, so that could push down lower at any moment, and that would mean GU just continuing up higher. So obviously, as long as the daily fractal and the 4-hour fractal remain in control, so that these two black lines here, I'll only be interested in looking at further upside from GU, and that could potentially be from this demand zone over here. Yeah, so that's what I'm looking at on GU. Going into NU and gold, last of all, what we have here on NZDUSD is a beautiful retracement actually back down in towards this area of demand. Now what I'm going to be waiting for inside of this demand zone is for further upside continuation. Now again, what I'll do here is I'll explain it very briefly. What we had here was the daily change of character, okay? So this is the change of character high that broke structure over here. Now what happens is that we get the push down, we get the break back up again. So here we have the daily fractal structure break. So what we have is a push up, retracement, push up, retracement, push up, retracement, and now we're just looking for the next push up in towards that next area of supply. Now for now, all you need to understand is that this fractal low is in control. This is your fractal high, so we are fractal bullish, and obviously we are overextended in towards the downside. The dollar index is inside supply, meaning that the dollar should push down lower again if structure were to prevail, obviously, and that would mean that NZDUSD would then push up higher. Now, as you can see over here, we have the imbalance candles which are in control, and these can push the market up higher at any moment in time. We've seen a nice retracement, so now I'll be looking at the lower time frame to see if we get anything nice. Preferably we would sweep this low over here as liquidity, and then we get the 4-hour change of character, and then we take a long position. So that's kind of like the long position that I'm currently looking at for NZDUSD. Yes, you could just simply take a long now here on the daily time frame, but it is Monday, there's not a lot of confirmation, and the risk to reward is also not optimal. Going into gold, last of all, we're still expecting further upside from gold. Overall, the demand chain is still in control. This is currently your demand zone. This is currently your daily fractal low. This is currently your daily fractal high. We've made a sizable retracement all the way back down into discount in towards that daily demand zone. So now what you need to do, you need to look for a reversal pattern. So what I'm now ultimately looking at is here, for example, on the 1-hour time frame, what we can see is that we have swept these lows. We tap in towards this 1-hour area of demand. So now what I need to see is a 1-hour fractal structure shift, confirming that this is a valid demand zone. So this is now your 1-hour fractal high on the bearish candlestick. So now what I'm looking for is simply this, and then back up higher in towards a new all-time high. So not interested in any shorts on gold yet. Only looking for longs until obviously this black line breaks, which is going to be your daily fractal low. So that's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and see you tomorrow.